Okay, and we are back. Not too long ago, I've made a video in regards to a game called Little Nightmares, basically reviewing it and giving my own idea on it. First off, if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link down below. Secondly, after looking it over for a bit, and people pointing it out to me, there's quite a number of things I've pretty much missed in the first video, that I either pretty much ignored or forgot about altogether. So, I'll be going over those theories here, and see if I can get my own 2 bits on how everything is put together. Unlike before, this is going to go into spoiler territory, so keep that in mind as we go along. With that said, let's get started. As for the many questions in this game, this is the one that usually comes first. After 6 dreams about the geisha, she wakes up, and the game starts, in an open suitcase. And immediately theories begin to rise up, the main question being, why is she in a suitcase? This is only asked because when we do see other children later on, they are all in cages, and all looked after by the janitor. But as for you, you start off free to roam around straight away. This could mean a number of things when it comes to how 6 got there, and a bit on her character too, which I narrowed down to 4 different possibilities. Theory 1. Stowaway. As we see plenty of other customers come onto the mall in the first place, and with plenty of rooms on the mall, it could be assumed for them to bring some items with. If this place is anything like a real business, such as a hotel for instance, it could be a sort of luggage area to keep items for safety, sort of like the janitor's shoe room. So, the scenario is, 6 heard rumors about the mall and its habit of feeding children to the customers, so she decided to stow away inside a customer's luggage, and got herself inside that way in order to get the truth out. Theory 2. A specialty order. This one seems less about 6 and more about the world 6 is in, but it's still worth going on about. I'm sure we're aware of the idea that children are being eaten at the mall by these customers. I'm not too sure on exactly how these kids get there, but if it's anything like how we transport things like pigs, cows, or chickens or whatever, then it's possible for orders from geisha to the mall might not be too far off. For 6, she could be a part of a special order, hence why she's draped in yellow while the other kids, well, are basically colorless. Think of 6 as like a prize turkey out of a whole flock of poultry chicken. Theory 3. Planned sabotage. This one is a bit more strict, but there is an idea going around that 6 could be a part of a planned method to destroy the company Madame Geisha here is currently running. Who will put her up to this, I really don't know at this point, but this would be plausible for 6 to land herself all alone from the other kids, or from anyone for that matter. People also notice that 6 does have 2 pictures inside the suitcase with her, which possibly could be a reminder or a clue of what she has to do when she gets there. What these pictures exactly are is kind of unknown, but it's interesting to say the least. Theory 4. Child abandonment. This one is a bit more specific, a bit smaller, and one that pits 6 and Madame Geisha together. The theory states that 6 is actually the geisha's daughter, which there's a surprisingly high amount of evidence, including the pictures on the geisha's wall. With the apparent obsession over her beauty, the geisha couldn't stand that you, 6, are more beautiful than her, and as such sends you away in that suitcase and isolates you. This one isn't too much to go on, though it puts some explanation on why you see a dream of this woman in the first place. Though that is really about it. There are other things people try to consider, and it's not just the suitcase. During the game, there's also these starvation sequences, which there is about 5. You eat a piece of bread, raw meat, a rat, a gnome, and part of Madame Geisha herself. Gross, yeah, and cannibalistic, but shows us something is terribly wrong. I've already gone over what this could possibly be in my other videos, so I'm not going to go over it here. But what I am going to go over is this other 6. This was something no one else seemed to talk about, and something I never noticed myself until recently. I only found this out, in fact, after I saw a short video on it, made by, I'm only calling him this to protect the innocent, Mr. Little, who allowed me to show the footage here shown to you now. As it turns out, this person appears in every single starvation sequence up to the gnome, just hidden away off screen. I only considered her as a random kid just conveniently standing there, but now that I've come to know this, maybe there's something more to her. What I think is that this could be the demonic side to 6, growing stronger each time. You know, that evil side in your head tempting you. After all, she only appears in these sequences, and each time this gets worse and worse until eventually... yeah, that. This theory questions if this character is even human at all, and you are actually being the monster amongst these creatures. I suppose I can see why some would think this. After all, most of these enemies are vaguely human, to a point. And 6 isn't the kindest to these things either. I mean, she chopped off the janitor's arms, drove one off a cliff, and let's not forget the end where she pretty much kills everybody. That, and when compared to everything else, except for the gnomes of course, she is incredibly tiny. While this is proof to back it up, I am sorry, but the idea that she's not human is pretty much debunked by the game itself. We see other kids in this game, the same size by the way, they're just all in cages, and some even born in the nursery, which we'll get to later. Shifting away from 6 for the moment, let's take a look at some of the enemies we see. And to begin, we'll start with the chefs. I've gone over them bit by bit already, but one thing I didn't catch was an animation they do, which is actually scratching under their masks. According to what I've been told, a concept art piece shows one of these chefs partially removing their own mask, showing a face underneath. My previous video called these things dolls turned chefs, but after seeing this, I don't think so anymore. These 2 chefs could, in fact, be a set of cannibalistic human beings, who only hide their faces behind masks, much like their boss. However, as far as theories go on them specifically, there's not too much besides that. So, we'll just move on. This may not be an enemy per se, but people still compare this to the enemies in the game, so it still counts. Near the beginning of the game, during the tutorials, you end up going into a room where there's a very tall, thin figure who hung himself on the ceiling. Not only is this very early, but there's nothing to hint this guy again after you leave. Candidates for this suicide shift around a bit. In my previous video called this guy the Geisha's currently deceased husband. But that's not the only thing that is picked up on for me. One option, albeit a long shot, has rumors saying that it's the janitor that is the hanging man. The only proof to back this up though is that the man has very long legs while the janitor has very long arms. I guess this can be an allegory as to the appearance of the janitor in a way, but I don't see any other connection besides that. But there is another, more interesting idea. To me, anyway. One video by the Gaming Beaver, the only evidence of this I could really find, also tried to crack this game. But during this, he gives mention to a trip he took to the 2016 Gamescom. During the visit, there was an enemy or creature present that wasn't used in the final game, which he refers to as the Bellboy. According to the video, it wore a red suit and the face was completely melted and basically decrepit. I couldn't find any other sort of images or videos on this thing, so make of that what you will. Anyway, this bellboy could be the hangman just as well. It seems that it could be as tall as the rest of the enemies, and as well, the bellboy's job is to help guests with their luggage, and they're usually found very early on too. Much like how this figure is seen very early on in this game.